What is the link between regenerative medicine and the astronaut's health?
Everyone knows that astronauts in space, they lose a lot of bone. So it's a very, very similar type of conditions. During my time at Harvard, we were looking at how can we use space to understand the onsets of osteoporosis. I think everyone's perception of space has predominantly been satellites, rockets, but more and more countries are really coming on board in terms of space biology, medicine, and the manufacturing.
Dr. Joshua Chou specializes in regenerative medicine and space biology. He trained at the University of Tokyo and Harvard Medical School and is currently working with the Australian Space Agency to translate cutting-edge technologies such as stem cells, exosomes, and biomanufacturing into real-world health solutions, especially in the area of aging and aging-related disease. If we compare the exosome and stem cells, which ones are more effective?
I think that's a fantastic question. People always ask me, is one better than the other? And it depends on what you want to achieve.
So it would be beneficial even for like brain health, immune system, sports injuries.
Absolutely, especially what you mentioned.
How do you actually measure the biological age? What is involved?
We look at the
Welcome to Chief Life, the podcast that cuts the crap with science-backed insights on health, nutrition, and performance. Get expert advice, actionable tips, and everything you need to take control of your health and live your best life. Let's get started.
Dr. Joshua Chou, welcome to the Chief Life podcast. How are you today?
Good. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, thanks for coming. I'm super interested in everything you do. And just before we dig into it, to paint the picture, I need to ask a few things. So you've trained at the world-renowned institutions such as Harvard Medical School and University of Tokyo. What first drew you to the regenerative medicine and space biology? And also, what is the link between regenerative medicine and the astronaut's health? Like, I'm really intrigued by this.
Yes, I know. Thank you so much. I think most people want to make that connection between the two. I really started off regenerative medicine because we're all humans and we all have family and friends that do need help with diseases and things like that. So that was really the motivation behind it. So that really took my journey to Japan, Tokyo, and then to Boston, over to Harvard. And then in context of astronauts, it's funny because my initial research was really on osteoporosis. How regenerative medicine can help people with osteoporosis because my mother has osteoporosis. And of course, everyone knows that astronauts in space, they lose a lot of bone. So it's a very, very similar type of conditions. During my time at Harvard, we were looking at how can we use space to understand, the onsets of osteoporosis, because you can't really prevent or treat something if you don't fully understand it. So that's where a quick, short answer of how we connected the two between regenerative medicine and space.
That's true, super interesting. And I know that you're working with the Australian Space Agency and you're also attending the International Astronautical Congress, which is this year. How, what are you excited the most about at this Congress? What is it going to be about? Like, what they talk about at this Congress? I'm curious.
I think this Congress is going to be super awesome. So if anyone's in Sydney, they should definitely try to attend. There's a free public day on October 3rd.
Great.
Yeah, so everyone can go. So it's going to be like the Vivid of Sydney, but for space.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. So you can just go and do you have to buy tickets or anyone can just come?
No, you just have to register. Darling Harbour is going to have an astronaut, have a command center. I think Martin Place is going to have a big balloon and planet. So the whole city is going to be transformed next week. So encourage everyone to go.
I'm definitely going to go. When is it? Next week?
Next Friday is the open to the public day. So it'll be fantastic. Yeah. So
fantastic.
Definitely try to attend.
See you there. I didn't realize it was public actually. That's great.
No,
I'm definitely going to come.
And I know like Lego in the city is going to have its own space theme as well. So it is going to be a very big event. No, it's very exciting because the International Astronautical Congress, it's like the Olympics for space, and I can't remember the last time it was held here in Australia. So you're getting all the space related industry to come to Sydney over the 1 week period to really discuss, collaborate, and also advance the space industry. I think everyone's perception of space has predominantly be satellites, rockets, and things like that. But more and more countries are really coming on board in terms of the space biology and the medicine and the manufacturing, because what people are realizing is that there's a lot of potential, both economical and also value down here on Earth as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. When I met you first time, you were doing a talk about exosomes, which I believe is your area of expertise. A lot of people know about stem cells, not a lot of people know about exosomes. I didn't know anything about it. Can you please explain to us what exosomes are and how do you use it in the astronauts, how do you use it in regular people, like just little quick workshop on exosomes?
Of course. Look, I think, as you said, everyone has at least heard of stem cells and more or less know what they're about. Exosome is just little molecules that's secreted or produced by the stem cell. So they're very, very small. So they're about 100 nanometers. So what they are, they're basically messenger molecules. So for stem cells to communicate with other cells, they release these exosomes to initiate a certain response. So we all have heard, and seen, stem cell have these really strong regenerative properties, but how they do it is through one of the mechanisms is through exosomes. So that's why it's been quite fascinating and people are very interested in it, because it's basically concentrating it and then targeting these molecules for a specific outcome and application.
Okay, so if we compare the exosome and stem cells, what would you use stem cells for? What would you use exosomes for? Which ones are more effective? Like, what is the story here?
That's right. I think that's a fantastic question, because people always ask me, is one better than the other? And my response is really, it depends on what you want to achieve. So stem cells is really for as we age, our stem cells decreases. So that's why our body function becomes slower. We have diseases and so on and so forth. So injecting stem cells really help boost that number. So it's a numbers game. So you're basically trying to boost your stem cell numbers back to when you were younger. So that helps with the general maintenance of the body, processing, regeneration, and so on. Exosomes is really anti-inflammatory. So a lot of our condition associated with aging or diseases is really a lot of the properties is inflammation. So having exosomes, it helps manage that, reduce that, and therefore help alleviate some of those disease conditions. So you can see it as stem cells as a cell that helps regenerate, maintain, and exosomes is really for anti-inflammatory type of applications.
Okay, so it would be beneficial even for like brain health, immune system, sports injuries, all of that.
Absolutely, especially what you mentioned, like sports injury, because a lot of that is inflammation. So exosomes can be able to help reduce that. By reducing that, you also help regenerating it, and then of course in combination with stem cells, you can help speed up that process. And then what you mentioned about neuro brain health. So we understand that the brain is very complex, and a lot of brain diseases are very complex as well. So stem cells, they're cells, they cannot enter the brain because you have the blood-brain barrier protecting your brain. But exosomes can cross that blood-brain barrier. So there are a lot of studies where exosomes are being introduced into the brain to help reduce those neuroinflammation. It hasn't able to treat diseases, but it has been able to help improve the conditions, the quality of life, and a lot of the associated symptoms.
And would the exosomes also help mitochondrial health?
Yes, absolutely, because exosomes actually help stimulate a lot of that mitochondria energy production. So it activates the different pathways and mechanisms associated with the cell survivals, cell regenerations.
Interesting. So I have a specific question for you. I'm an ultra marathon runner. I'm 45 years old, and I've had a chronic tendonitis in my hamstring tendons, proximally. And it got so bad that 2 of my hamstring tendons came off the bone.
Oh.
And I was in Thailand, and I inquired in a stem cell clinic about the stem cells for that specific issue, and they didn't think it would be very effective. They said the stem cells might spread everywhere in my leg, and they can't guarantee that it's going to help to heal the tendon. What do you think? Should I do the stem cell therapy for it, or would exosomes be more effective? And how?
I think they raised a really good point, because when you introduce the stem cells or the exosomes, it goes through the bloodstream. So there is no targeting of where they go. It's just that once in the body, you have to trust that those cells will find the areas that you need repair, and they will go and repair it. So in your specific case, I think it can definitely help. I'm not sure how bad it is, but it will definitely help. But of course, like most things, it's not a one shot and then everything is everything's better. It will take multiple treatments or multiple injections to see those improvements.
Okay, so how do you apply the stem cells and the exosomes? Is it intravenous, or is it specifically into area, or how does it work?
Yeah, so I think that depends on the condition and also the clinic. Most people just do it intravenous. It gets carried through the bloodstream throughout the whole body. So I think it's a more general well-being. But there are people, for example, people who have knee problem, or for example, specific injuries, they will inject it near the site of the injury. So I think it just depends on the condition and what the clinics are comfortable doing.
Yeah, okay. I know that you spoke about the exosomes and stem cells therapy for anti-aging generally,
Yes.
and I'm not sure if I heard correctly, but you said that you measure biological age before the treatment and then down the track to see if the person is aging backwards.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
That's right.
That's great. So how do you actually measure the biological age? What is involved? What are the variables of the measurement?
Yeah, so I think, look, I think there are a lot of tests out there that do biological age testings. For us specifically, we look at the methylation, cell methylation. So it basically helps you get an idea of what is happening and what will happen to the cells. Everyone has different methodologies or technologies to do that, but we use the best in the world, Illumina technology, to screen that. And look, for us, it's one thing to understand the biological aging, but it's also important to understand what is happening at the organ levels. So, for example, our screening methodology, we screen 11 different organs, so it's organ specific. So you can have a look at which organs are changing or reducing in biological age, and then over in the background we also look specifically at what's happening at the cellular level as well. So we provide like a holistic overview of what can happen, what will happen, so that you're in a better position to make a better judgment of maintaining and managing your health.
Okay, that's epic. I love that this is actually measurable and it's not just like, this is going to make you feel better or younger. That's great.
Exactly.
So, yeah, is this accessible in Australia?
Yes, it is. We're the first in Australia to introduce it. So we're just about to launch into the market. And then so we're working with a lot of clinics, gyms and things like that to really offer this. So people are empowered to have better understanding. And look, I understand, sometimes people have too much information and they don't know what to do, but we've made this more easy and more accessible so that individuals together with their clinicians or nutritionists or physio are able to have better advice as to how to better improve or maintain their current health conditions.
Okay, that's great. So where in Sydney can we get this done, and what's the cost of the biological age test?
So you can order online. It's very simple. We send you a blood collection card. It's we collect blood because it's more accurate. Other people do saliva, but as you can imagine, saliva, there's not the quality reduces really quickly. So with saliva, within 24 hours, you have to make the runs or else the quality decrease. So we do blood tests. This can be done when you do, go to the pathology and do a blood test, or you can do a pinprick, and we just need about, 0.2 of a mil. And you basically send it to us, and then we get that report back to you in about 2-3 weeks time, all nice and tidied up. The cost right now is 800 Australian dollars per test, but we encourage people to buy like 4. You get a discount, so that you can maintain you can monitor your condition throughout the year, because your body is always changing. So this is not a test that you do once and then it's forever that way. It's a way for you to monitor your progress, whether you're changing a diet, new routine, new exercise, or whatever, so that you can have a quantitative data to back that up.
Yeah, that's great. Well, talking about diet and exercise, do you have any specific diet and exercise protocol for anti-aging that comes with the therapy?
No, not really, because I guess I'm like 40 in my 40s, so I guess I'm midway there. Look, I don't. I obviously monitor what I eat and how and what I think most people are aware of. But on top of that, I also do the exosome injection, and that has helped me a lot because it's helped with both metabolism and also reducing my overall inflammation. I recently did my health check, and my blood vessels and heart, the biological age is actually 26. So I'm very happy with that.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
Okay, so exosomes definitely work. You're the primary example, but are they accessible in Australia?
Not yet. No. Yeah. So there are products that are derived from exosome, but in terms of direct IV injection, no, not yet.
Yeah. Okay. So exosomes and stem cells not available in Australia.
Not yet.
No. Is it coming anytime soon?
If it passes the TGA, but I don't think anytime soon. I think it will be a good couple of years before it's properly introduced into the market.
Okay, I should mention it at the start, but you work with the exosomes and stem cells in Japan.
That's right.
And I've heard few things. I've heard that the CEO of Uniqlo donated 450 billion yen to the stem cell research. I also heard that the executives in Japan give each other stem cells therapy vouchers instead of luxury gifts. And I also heard that Brian Johnson, the most famous biohacker, uses Japanese exosomes. Are these rumors or are all these true?
These are all true. Uniqlo has made that significant investment because they understand, and because cell therapy in terms of stem cell and exosome is now a common thing. So it's not something that's new. It's just something that people do on a regular basis. And I can tell you, when I go to these clinics, there are 17 and 18-year-olds doing these injections as well. So, I can't imagine when I was 17, 18, I'm still eating McDonald's or something, not getting exosome injection.
I was drinking and partying.
Exactly.
Oh my God. It's so good. It's so good to hear. Yeah, I remember you said in your talk that because you can get stem cells therapy in different parts of the world, but you said the stem cell and exosome therapy is the highest quality in Japan. Why is that so?
Yes. So, as you mentioned, there are different parts of the world where people offer different things along the cell therapy. Why Japan is better or more advanced in terms of quality, as we all know, Japan has always been recognized for their quality control. But further to that, it's also regulated by the Ministry of Health. So it's a government institution and entity that monitors all these clinics, all the production and all the processes. So you can feel confident that what the clinics you're doing, the processes you're doing are monitored by a regulatory body. A lot of countries right now, this is just I guess you can call it a gray area where, it's done by faith, by doctors, by clinics, by word of mouth and so on. So it's not really regulated. And the analogy I give to people is that you're paying for Japan you're definitely not paying for the cheapest in terms of what you're getting, but you are paying for quality. And it's like a chef, you're paying for their experience. So, making these exosomes or making these stem cells, these are skills, years of experience and skills to make sure it's correct and that the cells are at the highest viability and efficacy, so that when you inject it, it's performing at its best. So you're really paying for that experience and that quality. And sure, it is a bit more expensive, but the results also speak for themselves. So, all the people I bring over, there has never been any questions. Everyone just continues to go back because they feel it, experience it, and they're paying for that quality.
Okay, so even if I wasn't Japanese citizen, I can go to Japan and get these therapies done.
100%. Yeah,
Okay.
every
right,
tourist can go and do it.
Amazing. Next question. What's the cost of stem cells and exosomes?
So there is a big gap in between in pricing between the two. So stem cells is generally, and again, this is global market price, anywhere between 20,000 Australian to 30,000 and above. It just depends on the numbers. So you're talking about that 20 to 30K. Exosome is more along the 1,500 to 2,000 Australian dollar benchmark. So you can see it's a bit of a scale off in terms of the costing, but it also it makes it more accessible for people to experience the benefit, because not everyone needs stem cell on the get-go. Exosome is perfectly well suited for wellness, longevity, small conditions, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. But how often do I have to get it done? Like, is there any point in me going to Japan and getting exosomes if I'm only there for like a week?
Oh, 100%. I know people who fly from China for the day just to get the shot and then go back.
But how often do you have to fly? It's not like I can go there every 3 months or something. I mean, I can, but
exactly. Look, I think, your first shot is going to start repairing your body. Your body definitely needs that repair. So, again, there is no set time limit to how often you should go. You will definitely feel when it's working, and of course when you're returning back to your normal self. That varies between people, but you can go anywhere between 3 to 6 months. You can still feel the benefits of it. And I think because it's done its repair, you are already in a better state. So it's not like once you stop, you're going to just drop really badly or something. It's you've repaired, and then you slowly go back to what you were before.
Yeah, that's great. Just to explain to our listeners, because they might feel like this is all very abstract. So aging is increasingly seen, or premature aging is seen, as a disease of cellular senescence, where the old and damaged cells stop dividing, but they don't die off. And the stem cells and the exosomes help to repair these cells. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's right. So the stem cells replacing, and then the exosomes help stimulate. Yes.
Okay, stimulate to what? For the cells to function better, or to divide?
To function better. It's basically communicating more with your cells to repair the parts that you need to repair. So we are the first in the world to really track how that mechanism works. So once you inject that exosome, it actually stimulates your immune system to respond. So your immune system starts to screen your body to see where it needs to fix. And then following that happens over a period of about 2 to 3 weeks. And then after that, it starts the repair process. So it's quite exciting. We started to track the mechanisms of how this is actually working.
Wow, that's crazy. And do you use these techniques in the astronauts as well to repair after being in space?
Yes. So as you know, being in space, astronauts, physiologically, their body starts to deteriorate. So, how do we maintain that, or to, help alleviate that? So a lot of people, different space agencies are looking at how can we apply regenerative medicine principles and technologies to help astronauts, because in space, it's not like they can go to their nearest pharmacies and pick up a Panadol or something. So they have to be able to use something that's sustainable. And then if they are able to carry with them their own stem cells or exosomes, it means the body won't reject it. They can maintain their health, and they can continue to stay longer in the space environment.
Okay, interesting. So you're using it in them already now?
We are exploring. Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay, I've got a next question. So everyone in Australia who is into the biohacking is doing NAD plus infusions or injections. How effective is NAD plus in comparison to exosomes and stem cells? Like, is it actually effective?
Look, I know everyone has different experience with NAD, and I think it's great, but you have to understand NAD is an artificial molecule that stimulate that energy production. It's very specific to one purpose and one applications. And sure, people have different needs in terms of what their body needs, but we also have to remember that not everyone can process NAD that well. So that's something people should also be aware of, just to have those tests to ensure that your body can metabolize those NAD, or else you're basically accumulating a lot of these, and that could actually have the negative effect on you as well.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
No, my colleague, he was injecting NAD, but then we did a test and realized he's actually overdosed because his body can't process it. So it was actually having a negative effect on him.
That's crazy. Else. So what kind of test do you do to find out if we
there's actually an NAD test out there that people can do. I'm pretty sure people can Google that. They should definitely look into it and see how they're processing it. But back to your question, NAD has one particular target, one particular applications to boost energy and so on. The difference between that and, let's say, exosomes and stem cells and stem cells to regenerate your body. So you're improving your condition. NAD is to boost your energy. It's not improving not anything at all. But
it's actually not regenerating the cells.
That's right.
Get it.
That's right. So there's a big difference. So I always say this is the investment in yourself. You're trying to get better to improve your health, your wealth, and of course your overall condition.
So if I want to age backwards on inside, I need exosomes and stem cells, not NAD+.
Exactly. Look, I see a world where both works together. So I think both would definitely work well together.
I didn't know this, but surely even if you do the stem cell and exosomes therapy, you still need to also take care of your diet and exercise, because let's say if I drink alcohol and eat ultra processed foods and then I keep injecting myself with exosomes, it's probably not going to have as much effect, or will it override the bad
It probably
diet?
won't help with the ultra processed food, but with alcohol, it's actually doing a lot of miracles. A lot of
really?
people,
Tell me, I want to know.
A lot of my friends and younger people, that before they go clubbing or raving, they actually get the exosome, because the metabolism increases and also protects the brain as well. So the effects of alcohol is actually getting processed quite quickly. So you actually can drink more and party harder. I don't know if that's good or not, but a lot of these my friends, they do that to compensate.
Well, I don't drink because I don't know, but okay, it protects your brain, but what about your liver and everything? Is that,
Yeah, so the exosome, we've actually shown it regenerates the liver and protects your liver from the alcohol.
Oh, I'm regretting now I said it, because now everyone is going to be saving money to go party in Japan and then have exosome. But I'm so intrigued. Like, I'm 45. I would love to age backwards. I think my next holiday will be exosome therapy in Japan.
Oh, so absolutely.
Yeah, so is there one clinic that you specifically work with that you can recommend if anyone asked?
Yes, of course. And the reason we work with this clinic is because they have been around for 20 or 30 years, and they come from an actual medical group. And also they're stock listed. So they're one of the biggest in Japan. So, you can feel more confident and safe in terms of that quality. And of course, all the doctors are all very, well regarded and recognized doctors as well.
Okay, amazing. I get the details of you. That's so interesting.
100%.
I have another question. So a lot of people I know go to get their stem cells done in Thailand.
Yes.
Australians, Americans usually go to Mexico.
That's right.
Is it important to know what is the source of the exosomes? Like, where does it come from? Who does it come from? I know that in Japan you can find out the source and it's really credible, but what about all these like hillbilly clinics in everywhere around the world?
Look, I think a lot. I understand a lot of Australians go to those places, and I think that's mainly because they don't know how to access, for example, Japan. They've heard of it, but it's like, well, who do I go to? I can't speak the language. It's about accessibility. I think obviously Thailand, Mexico, they have very dedicated English speakers to address that. But having said that, what to your point, quality really matters. It's again like using cooking as an analogy. You can cook the same food out, but the ingredients you add into it, the oil you use to cook the food, is going to dictate the health of the food that you cook and also the taste as well. So sure, you're gonna get stem cells to a certain degree, but is it worth what you're paying for in terms of quality? That's something that people should ask and be fully aware of.
Okay, so the stem cells are always from other people, is that right?
No, stem cells is always from from yourself. So basically, So they do a little liposuction, extract a little bit of your fats, and then from there they expand the cells into millions or billions of stem cells, then re-inject it back. If you go to clinic and they say they're using from someone else, definitely don't do that because that's very unsafe.
I'm not sure, but I've heard that in Thailand it's like from umbilical cord and stuff like that. Is that possible, or am I just being crazy?
No, you're absolutely right, and people have definitely said that, but I wouldn't recommend it because they market it as umbilical cord or placenta. It's more pure, it's more fresh and stuff, but you have to understand you don't know who the mother is or the history of where the family. So there are a lot of whether it be genetics or other things that have not been considered. So
and vaccinations and stuff.
Exactly. So I will be quite wary of that, and also because it's coming from someone else, your body might not even accept it, might reject it as well. So there are little things that we have to be a bit more cautious about.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I have to send this to all my friends. They've been doing the stem cells in Thailand. Question. So if the stem cells are from myself, and let's say if I was 80 years old, are the stem cells effective enough to use my own?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yes. So I mentioned this before. As you age, your stem cell decreases. So injecting these stem cells actually to boost that number. So if you think about your body, it's about building your army of stem cells to replenish that number. So it's a numbers game, not necessarily a quality game, because your stem cells still function. It's just less. So what you're trying to do is try to increase that. So I personally know relatives and people who are 90s and still be able to extract the stem cell and then reintroducing it without any problems.
Yeah, okay, great. That's good to know. I think a lot of people don't know this. I think the idea of from what I've heard from people, they think that you always have to use someone else's stem cells. So this is good to know. I have a question. Everyone is obsessed with anti-aging these days. Anyway, and everyone in Sydney, especially Bondi anyway. And there are lots of crazy methods that I've heard about. What is the craziest miracle anti-aging thing that you have ever heard about that's not working and is just a gimmick?
Anti-aging. I don't know. I'm always a very positive person. I always think everything has a little bit of help. So I think every little thing helps, but it's just for the individuals what is needed. And also I always obsess about safety and quality. I think that's very important because this is not something that you wear or you kind of put on your surface. This is something internal. So what you put inside really do matter. And my philosophy is if I don't use it myself or my family, I would not recommend it to my family and friends.
Okay, that's a good advice. On the other side, are there any new specific breakthroughs in the world of anti-aging and reversing age-related diseases like Alzheimer's, osteoporosis, or sarcopenia?
Look, I think that what's very exciting about cell therapy is what you mentioned about neuro diseases like Alzheimer's, dementia, autism, ADHD. I've been exposed to a lot of very severe cases where people are either brain dead or in a coma. That basically there's nothing else for them to do, and these cell therapies whilst they haven't reversed the condition, they're helping with the conditions. So that's what I think in the next couple of years, the breakthrough will really be in the neuro space, both not only for people with neuro diseases, but even just everyday well-being. So for example, we do a lot of nasal spray of exosomes because that directly goes into the brain. And that has a lot of potential, that has a lot of immediate benefits in terms of focus, concentration, neuro training. I realized that for myself as well. I'm a procrastinator sometimes. I have a list of things that are too hard, I don't want to do. I kind of leave it to the side.
I'm the same.
But after
I'm good at making lists, but not good at ticking them off.
exactly, I like to tick off the easy ones. But I always have the one that's just like, oh my god, I don't want to touch that. But it's there as a reminder. But yeah, look, I think a lot of people have that kind of problem. But after doing these exosomes, it's really helped me to make it easier for me to focus and just really go down and do those things that previously I would find difficult to do. And I realized after 2 or 3 months of doing that, I'm no longer reliant on the exosome. It just becomes a habit. My brain has been retrained to be able to do those tasks without having to do the sprays and whatnot. So that's just a very small anecdotal example, but I'm saying in the coming years, the neuro space I think will be very exciting because I think more or less everyone has focus or energy. That's why we binge eat on caffeine.
Everyone has focus problems these days, but also a lot of people suffer from dementia, and so does my dad. And do you think that the exosomes would help someone who already has advanced stage of dementia or Alzheimer's? Again,
no one can make any promises because everyone's wired differently, but it will do repairs. How it repairs it's very up to the individuals. I've seen people who have like immediate big effects to people who have nothing but slower effects. So I think everyone is very, very different. But what you do need to do is to trust that it's doing something, it's repairing. How long that takes is really up to the individual.
Interesting. What excites you the most about the next 5 years in the field of regenerative medicine and anti-aging?
I'm quite excited because it's becoming more common and more accessible for people, and I think that's very exciting because we're no longer in the life where we're limited by the conditions of aging, if that's the right word. We're able to regain a new youth, new focus, new energy, and I think that's reflected in the work, the way we interact with people, and also how we see and treat conditions that previously we thought were unmanageable. So to your point, Alzheimer's or Parkinson's and things like that. Before that was just so complex, and then of course there are good drugs, but at the end of the day, they're drugs. They target something very specific with specific side effects. So I really love how this is able to help people live better and live happier. I think that's quite important.
That's great. You know what? I'm not very money orientated. I don't really care much. But now I'm like so motivated to make a lot of money so that I can go to Japan and get exosomes twice a year. Oh my God, that's all I've been thinking about the whole time you're talking. I'm like, damn, I wish I could just go like right now. It sounds so interesting. But another thing, I still want to ask more about the astronauts. So you mentioned they have osteoporosis, which makes sense, or osteopenia. What are the other health issues they experience after being in a space, and how long they're usually in a space for, and what are the conditions they struggle with generally?
Look, once you get into space, everything starts to go bad. It's just that the bone loss is the most obvious, but you can also see that astronauts are staying in space longer, and it's because we have drugs or interventions that can prevent those now. So in the first 3 days when you go into space, your eyes, the pressure on your eyeball, that has been reported to be quite bad. and takes a little bit to get used to. And then of course, everything else from, your respiratory, of course, to the bone muscle loss is a very big one as well. Yeah. So I think it starts from the exterior and slowly moves inward. The good thing is the heart doesn't. It's the least affected, which is great. So far, no one has have any conditions with the heart in space yet.
Yeah. So it's mainly the bones and muscles.
That's right. And that in turn affect everything else.
Yeah. Do you know what they eat? Like what's in their food? Like is it really high in protein or what is it? Do you have any insight into that?
All I know is that the Japanese food is the best and everyone loves the Japanese food.
Because in space, they have Japanese food in space. Like what?
Yes.
Like,
because they actually have space food is a thing in Japan, so they actually have dedicated food companies that actually make special food for space.
Really?
Yeah, whereas other countries it's more blended, so everyone loves the Japanese food because there's actually taste in there. Because in space your taste bud becomes very dull, so you can't really have taste. So the food is more on the nutritious side rather than taste.
Yeah. No, I love Japanese food, full stop. That's my favorite cuisine. I could eat Japanese all day, every day. I love it. When I go out, the only two things I'd eat is either Japanese or steak. I don't eat anything else. Don't care for Italian, nothing. Love it. So, so it's food made in Japan, but is it actually looks like a traditional Japanese food or what is it? I'm just when I have the...
They have instant noodles. They have 20 different food for space. Wow. So yeah, I know there are a couple of noodles dishes, rice dishes as well. But the other countries I think it's just more protein bar type thing.
Protein. Yeah, they probably need a lot of protein anyway for bones and the muscle.
And muscle loss. Yeah.
What do they do for exercise in space?
Look, they try to do weight exercise in space to obviously for the bone loss and the muscle loss, but at the same time, everyone also knows that it has minimal effects. I think it's more for the psychology of the astronauts. I think everyone really focuses on the physiological changes or damages, but we also have to be aware of the mental health as well, because they're in isolation. So mental health is actually quite important in space, given the distance and also the isolation of where they're at.
Yeah, interesting. How many of them are there on the ship at the same time?
I think it varies from time to time. This is at most I think there are 4 to 6, but that varies depending on the mission and the condition of the space station.
Okay, so at this conference on Friday, are there gonna be any astronauts we can talk to and ask questions and stuff?
Yes, Australia's first astronaut, Catherine, will be there. So you can talk to her, ask her questions, maybe if you're lucky, get a photo with her. So there's a lot of interactive experiences and things at the ICC and Darling Harbour area on Friday.
Are you giving any lectures or talks or anything?
No, I'm not, but I'll be at the New South Wales government booth to promote space medicine and space biology as well.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. So what is the biggest thing in the space medicine now? Is it the exosomes and stem cells, or is there anything else?
Look, I think everyone is approaching space medicine differently. Some people, for example, the United States, they're more focused about production, producing drugs in space and how to improve drug properties in space. And then in Japan, it's about doing regenerative medicine, more cellular type of studies. In Australia, we're about how to create better medicine in terms of protection and also astronaut health and mental health as well. So I think that's why it's very, very exciting, is because the whole world is gathering together to work on their strength and bring that together for the betterment of human space flights.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. That was such a great insight into a completely different world to what I know.
Out of this world.
I've got last 2 questions. Question number 1, if you could give just one anti-aging advice to our listeners out there today, what would that be? One thing they can do to not age prematurely.
I will have to say exosome injections.
Of course. Can you make them legal in Australia, please? Like
Trust me,
now?
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
And
think it'd be
then
great.
the second question, what is your favorite book or good book that you're reading right now?
I don't have much opportunity or time to read book, but when I do, it's obviously the Bible. I think it has a lot of good
Yeah.
lessons in there about longevity and wellness in there.
Yeah. That's interesting that you're a scientist, but you also read the Bible. I love that.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I think there are a lot of things. As a scientist, we have to be, at least I'm a bit more open-minded about the possibilities of what could be or what couldn't be. So I think that ties really well.
Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you,
And
thank
I'll
you.
see you on Friday.
Absolutely, thank you.
See ya.